Welcome back to the Chunter Basha. We have a little bit of a different episode today. We have a very special guest, Julie Colombino-Billingham, also known as Billy's wife. And what a coincidence, you guys have both written books that we're going to talk about today that are going to be released at the same time.
Well, the biggest coincidence is we're both together in the same country at the same time.
That is a nice coincidence.
A convenient coincidence for a husband and wife, isn't it?
It's maybe convenient for some people, inconvenient for some, but
Yeah,
we're happy.
but it is about the fact that we are both launching our books at the same time.
I don't know how many people a lot of people are familiar with Billy's backstory, but I don't know how many people are familiar with your backstory. Can you talk about what inspired this book, your lived experiences and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to Haiti in 2010 as a disaster responder. I'm trained in disaster response. And what I learned there from the people of Haiti was that this immediate need, of course, it was needed and people needed the support right after the earthquake, but it was really the long-term development that nobody was really participating in or looking at or talking about. And people just wanted jobs. They just wanted work. They wanted an opportunity to be economically free, to have an income again. And so we built a business, and that's what we built, a fashion business. And that's what this whole book is about, is from going from the disaster of the 2010 earthquake all the way up to current day, where now we have sold to clients like Kenneth Cole and been granted awards by Eileen Fisher and now selling in Nordstrom. So it's kind of that whole process of how we got to, and it's more downs and ups, which is why it's taken 15 years to get to this place.
But really, Jewel, I mean, go back further than that. Where did the foundations come from? Where did you start getting into this?
You
I
mean
mean,
like,
from growing up, you was always a want to help her,
yeah.
into where did it develop from there? Because I think that's really the foundation, the nitty gritty at the start of the book, before
No,
the
that's a good
book.
point.
So where did it all start from, being as you were at school, to, like, my story all starts about what a bad little shit I was as a kid
Right, good point.
and how I turned my life. That's
Yeah.
what people want to know. We can come into the book in a bit, can't we? I mean, it's just, I know your story,
Yeah.
some of it, especially the dancing in the cages bit, but that's another story.
Do we have to talk about that on this podcast? Is that the appropriate place to talk about this?
God. We don't want to elaborate on that
No,
any
we
further.
don't. We don't want to elaborate on that.
No, but it's good to people to know, okay, so you didn't just wake up and the earthquake happened and then off you went. You
Right.
already had a massive foundation based on lessons learned and things you'd done before, right?
Oh, thanks, babe. Yeah, I mean,
Well, you did.
to be honest, I wanted to start writing the book 15 years ago I wanted it to kind of be like an educational thing, like teaching people like what we were learning, to kind of document. So it would kind of be a tool in maybe colleges and universities. And then over the years, it did turn into a memoir, like my life, the things that I've experienced as a woman CEO. So in the book, I talk about things that I never talk about anymore. Like, for example, I suffered with an eating disorder for 20 years and how that kind of shaped me and shaped my desire to want to help people and desire for people to have access to food and just different things about my life, how that was informed, having a master's in nonprofit management and like studying that before the earthquake and really wanting to be involved in charity, to this transition of really wanting to be a businesswoman, getting my MBA afterwards, and so all those things. Then throughout being a CEO in Haiti, I've also been a woman who got married, met the love of my life in Haiti. And we try to start a family and we struggled with infertility. So we talk about that in the book, like, the different challenges of being a woman, of being married, of being all these things. So yeah, it is, you're right, babe. It's kind of a little bit more.
Would you have started, you think, a fashion brand without this whole situation? Was that ever in your mind, or did you kind of think of what business can I do to help these people?
Yeah, no, definitely would never have started. Fashion was not my,
It was not your niche. It was.
You could ask anybody who knows me. Yeah,
I think you guys look great.
Oh, thank you very much. But fashion is definitely not. No, I've not really. I didn't realize the power of fashion.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, like, the reason that we really kind of honed into this niche is because everybody gets dressed every day. So everybody, and it usually is a part of your identity. What you're wearing says something about who you are and how you live and all these things. And so we realized, okay, if we really dove deep into that and made fashion accessories that would speak to people, we could have a really strong business. But no, if it was not in Haiti, this would not have been my forte. As Billy alluded to earlier, I was a professional dancer, not a cage dancer, but a ballet dancer. So I might have...
Cage fighter.
Well, when I'm with you, yeah.
Well, I think what's interesting is the first thing that you started off with making was sandals, right?
Right.
And you had very little money. You were basically started your business out of what, a tent?
Yeah.
And you were using what kind of material to start?
Tires,
recycled
recycled tire treads.
Yeah.
That's innovative. Like, how did you think of that?
That's also a chapter in the book because I went to Africa in 2006 and saw people making sandals from tire and never thought about it again. Like saw it in 2006, thought, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. And then went to Haiti and like saw people burning tires because they would like clean up all the trash in the area, put it inside a tire and burn it, not to be disrespectful to the environment, but there's no waste management system there. So people were innovative. So we had all these tires burning. People didn't have shoes because they lost everything in the earthquake. And then, I just thought, oh, we could make tire sandals. So I just thought about this thing I saw 5 years earlier in Africa.
So, I mean, going back to your question of fashion, I mean, I think what it was, correct me if I'm wrong, was Julie was just looking for an opportunity to create jobs, whatever that might be. It could have been, in fact, I know at one stage that she was looking at construction.
I would. We were.
So it was being in a place, firstly, to help, which again I was alluding to, going back to a story of probably more of, she went to Africa, she taught in schools in Africa with nothing, took a massive risk anyway, being out there on her own, no security, but felt the power to go and help and do something. I think the overarching thing around anything she does is helping other people. And that opportunity of fashion came about while we're in Haiti. She just triggered back to a memory going back a few years of helping people in Africa. There was plenty of tires on the street. The tires were being used to be burnt, which was creating pollution. So she's ending pollution to a degree, finding a way of producing something from rubble, again, recycling if you want. And then that just happened to be the thing. And I remember she literally sat there with a razor blade, cutting these shapes out. And I thought she was crackers. I thought, she's nuts, this woman. But I liked about it. I like the meeting, yeah. We can sort of align in some way. So it was that. It was like, but her enthusiasm and her dedication was like, it was overwhelming to everybody. Everybody noticed her and thought that, and she persevered. And that's a great lesson. Have an idea. We've all got ideas, but making it work is a different thing. And making it work is hard. And all those lessons, early days, are in that book. Yeah. And so what? The reason I'm going back to it, and I'm probably jumping over your thing, is because it's not just a book, it's a guide. Because everybody goes through a phase in your life you want to help somebody. We all do, or you should. If you don't, there's something wrong. That takes you 10 steps forward of making the same mistakes everybody makes. Yeah. Because she's done it, and she admits to it. The crazy things of going in without really understanding the political situation, the security situation, the sustainability thing of, it's great going there, oh great, I've saved 10 lives and I've taught them something, then I walked away. That's worse, because then you've taught them something that is out of reach to them.
Can't sustain.
So she did the turnkey solution to helping people, stopping the suffering, giving the education, giving the training, and then give them a product or an opportunity to do something with it, make money. For any young person can go pick up that, spend a week reading that and go, you know what? You're already 20 leaps ahead. So imagine if that had been out prior to people coming to Haiti and people had read it, I would say there'd be 20, 30 more businesses in Haiti still.
Oh, I wish.
Well, it would have been, because you're going in knowing this ain't going to be easy. These are the pitfalls I'm going to look out for. And, however, you've got to remember, it's an ever-developing world and things change. Yeah. There's disease, there's economic corruption, there's this, there's that. So you've got to there's always going to be new obstacles, but you're already chopping away 20 of them by going through something like that. I mean, she learned, literally, my thing is the hard way. I do everything the hard way. And it is the hard way because it reminds you, it's a good lesson to say not repeat bad mistakes. And I think that is all the hard way lessons in there. And I love her for it. It's great.
And we're going to go into more questions about the book, but to kind of transition, because yours is a very personal story. It's a memoir where it sounds like your book is more motivational. How would these two tie together? How are they different if you were to compare the two books together?
I think I've already said it. It's lessons learned.
Yeah.
everything I do now, and I use that probably too much. Say it's all about lessons learned, influential people, and creating a journey that is never clear, but you can get through it with perseverance or a way around it, finding other options. And that's both books. If I had to say, what's the common denominator between the two, is that the fact that it's just lessons learned.
Yeah.
On the sacrifice of myself, my life's career, and Julie's career.
And to be honest, in yours too, you, with every lesson, like there's like the 10 lessons that he learned in the SAS, but with everyone is a story, which is a memoir, you know.
Yeah.
So it kind of, I mean, they're positioned differently, right? But it is like the different situations that he went through. So lessons learned, through experience. So kind of the same.
I've seen and read some books about, what I'm talking about is about well-being and mindfulness and helping people, but it doesn't give examples. It gives you bullet point, get up, buy some trainers, go for a run. Great. That sounds great, but hang on. But I'll give you stories of the fact that, I went for a run and I thought I was going to run 5 miles and I couldn't. I ran a mile, but I didn't give up. What I did a little bit more and a little bit more. And then, I was on a strict regime of, I've got to get this by this end date. And then, of course, I'm focused, but then as a wedding comes up or a mate's birthday, and I end up getting drunk and knock me back 10 yards. So it's those lessons. I did once.
No, tipsy probably.
I know it's hard to believe, but I mean.
No, he always tells me I'm merry. I'm saying, no, you are blackout drunk. Like
It's anytime I go to the bar with them, it's one for the road.
Yeah, you two are.
We've had there's been some times where we've had.
Right.
It's been a long road.
You two are a nightmare together.
The best, the wisest words I ever heard. You are not drunk. You are not drunk until you fall off the floor.
Oh, so I guess we did get drunk that night.
I never fell off the floor.
It was a great time. Anyway, getting back here, when you guys are writing the books, and I'm thinking more like with you, Julie, because it being such a long process, especially early on, you probably weren't sure, am I going to finish this thing or am I just trying this out to see where it goes? Did you hit like a milestone or achievement or something where it was like, whoa, okay, this is really, like you had an aha moment in the story where you're like, I think this can be something.
You know what, Bright, you just kind of made me think. The truth is that the beginning of the book is my journals. So I was just writing a journal, and that turned into like the first chapters of the book because that was the early day memories. And so I don't think the idea of writing came probably a few years later, if I'm really now thinking about the process of it. So I think the aha moment was like, when realizing like, we've actually we're still here. I mean, even 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years out, when we watch people come and go. I mean, it was so transient, wasn't it? I mean, Billy and I met in Haiti in 2010, and so we were there for years together, and so we both saw the same thing: people coming in, people coming out, projects start, projects fail, Haitians left behind, people just kind of like, what the hell? Like we were starting something here, and now it's over. And so just, I think watching all that, and as we were like, wait, we're still here, and we would hear people say all the time, "You're still here." We just have like people from the U.S. Embassy, USAID, people that were living very different lifestyles than us, that had very different budgets behind them, that had very different, access to resources, that were there for years on end, would watch people like us and say, you're still here? Wow. Like, what are you still doing here? And that's actually how we got meetings with like the bigger organizations and how we started getting funding and being part of the conversations because we were still there.
What were like early on, especially what were the biggest challenges that you guys were facing? I mean, obviously it's a ravaged country from the disaster. There's probably a lot of looters. Was there gang violence?
No, nothing like that.
Really?
No looting.
No looting, no gang violence. Haitians are so community oriented.
Oh, really?
Yes, I would say the biggest thing for me was I was living in a tent camp near the airport, and I would say sickness. I was sick all the time. So dirty water, just illnesses unfamiliar to me. The working conditions were so incredibly harsh. Living in a tent was so harsh. It's not something I was used to, being so privileged. So I would say illness and then lack of finances. So we ran out of money within the first year.
I'm going to add one bit to it and being a woman.
Yeah. There was like one, I think
there was people kind of brushed the women over at the time. They're like,
It's like one woman to like 27 male disaster responders. So like we're in a genre of ourselves, like, and you're not really taken seriously. And so it's like people like, oh, were you scared of being in a foreign country. Well, if I was going to say I was scared, I would be of the male, relief workers, because you're living in tents side by side with them, right, in compounds. And so you're as a woman, you're outnumbered and you're not taken as seriously. So yeah, that's a good point. Like, being a woman in this field is not, it's unique. It's definitely unique.
And to mention, you're running it with a right-hand person, Sarah, who's also a woman. So really, it's a two women-led business.
Yeah, and before Sarah, in the early days, I was running with two women, Kim and Malia, who I had met in Haiti in 2010, January of 2010, and I was running it with them. So that's how it started. So and then Sandra, a woman I met and came in 2012. So I've actually always had female partners from foreign partners, and my Haitian partner Jolina is a woman. So we've always been a women-led organization from the beginning. Always had help from.
Back to what you were saying there, mate. The danger was just disease.
Mm-hmm.
The place was crumbling. You couldn't go into buildings.
Nothing was safe.
Yeah, and probably the threat of men.
Yeah,
if anything, but
access to food.
There was nothing to loot or riot. Everything was literally smashed.
Yeah.
Everybody was about staying alive, recouping anything they could to survive with, and try and relocate for the first 6 months. Find out who was missing, who was where. It was chaos, wasn't it?
We brought over bags of, I don't know if you guys remember, like not cans of tuna fish, but bags of tuna fish. And that's all we would eat for like one bag. We would like ration bags of tuna fish. And I remember when I first came back to the States about 6 months after, I could not walk down the tuna fish aisle in a grocery store.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, it took years to be able to
PTSD.
even. Yeah, I'm like.
I had the same problem with tequila.
Yeah,
I had it with,
another story.
I had it with vodka
Hardcore.
orange juice freshman year of college. Still couldn't drink orange juice for 10 years.
You know what? That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah, orange
it's like
juice ruins you.
Yeah.
So we've lived the same experience.
Similar lives, yeah.
So when you were when you guys were making enough money to really survive as a business early on, were you getting most of your sales from the U.S. or was most of your business coming from inside Haiti?
Inside Haiti. So actually the relief workers. I mean, we had, so Billy at that time had he built a hotel. Mm-hmm. So he was so innovative. He came to donate. If I can just go into his story for a minute, he came to donate a hospital, these prefab containers, and because of all the bureaucracy. And all the mayhem, he couldn't get it built. And so somebody had an idea there that said, look, it's 7 months, it was October of 2010. Everybody was flat out living in tents, being sick. He's like, build hotel accommodations for relief workers, USAID, the DOD, UN, and like, let's get people back in safe, secure housing so that like they can work more efficiently. Yeah. So he built the first hotel after the earthquake in Port-au-Prince down in Tabar. And
you guys weren't together yet at this point, were you?
We'd met.
Just met.
We weren't together.
Yeah. No, we weren't together. We had like seen each other. We have a funny meeting story.
He was courting you.
Yeah.
No. She was in the stalking process.
Oh, whatever. He was the stranger. It was
I know what it's like to be a deer, being stalked. Everywhere I looked, there was like a crosshairs on me. I thought, who's that?
He is so ridiculous. But
you have no game.
That happened.
Yeah.
No, maybe you do.
I don't. Well, the game he played was really.
It was tactical.
I was busy.
I mean, it was a really curious one. I'll tell you that.
I was a busy man.
I was
trying to save the planet like you.
Yeah. Well, we were. Yeah, everybody was busy. But anyway.
Sorry, I got sidetracked there.
Yeah.
But I just wanted, in case people didn't know, you guys weren't together at this point.
We were not
You
together.
didn't start Do Men.
No.
You were single.
At this point, I had started a charity, Rebuild Globally. So because of my knowledge of charities and like still not understanding business the way that I do now, I started a charity first. So we still have a charity operating and running right now. And in the book, I explain why it's important to have both in the developing world where, economics are a harsh reality, or bad economics. So I explain why we still have both. But I forget what we were talking about. Sorry.
No, it was getting started. You didn't have a business to start. I remember when a first sort of idea of doing something solid there began, and there used to be a meeting point in the UN base. It was a cafe owned by a guy called John Mark, and
he's in the book.
Yeah, everybody used to come. Well, you would. There was nowhere else. There was no social or nothing. Everybody was living in tents all over the city, mainly in the UN base. And round about, I'd say 7, 8 o'clock at night, everybody's kind of finished doing whatever they were doing, handing out, helping, because it got dark, you couldn't move, the roads were smashed, we had no vehicles. Everybody would then go and try and get something to eat. And the other reason was it was the only place they had fans. There was no aircon. So everybody just go over there and get some
mist blowing
opportunity.
fans.
Yeah. There was no water. You'd be looking at the toilets.
Yeah.
It was mad. And then I remember one night going in there. I was walking up the stairs, and Jules was there with Sandra, I think it was. No, Malia and Kim. And they're talking about this acronym, rebuild, and she can quote it in a minute. And I was going up the stairs, I heard it, and I would come back down, and it was all developed over a couple of bottles of Prestige beer.
And cigarettes. We used to smoke back then.
They were horrible.
The recipe for all great ideas.
Oh, man, it's like a swing fog down there.
Yeah,
you couldn't hardly see 'em.
We were so hungry. We just smoked. You could get cigarettes for I think like 5 Gouda cigarettes. So it was like
Well, it's
a
suppress your
penny.
appetite.
It was like, it was like being in a miner's canteen.
Oh yeah, it was.
So they were there. I just heard them talking. I came back down and you quoted, "Oh, we've got this idea," and it's a bit better than that. We're going to do this charity, and it's going to be called Rebuild. And this is what do you think of this? What was the acronym?
The acronym. So I love acronyms, and so I stood down there for hours, and it came out Rebuild: restoring environments by utilizing innovative local development. So early on, I knew it had to be locally focused, and so there were concepts that I knew from my education and just working in communities. And when I lived in Orlando, I worked at the United Way and just like different things that I had done in my life, and being in Africa, and there's some things that I knew. Not really the formation of the business at this point, but the local leadership was key, and like restoring environments. Like I was talking more, I wasn't just talking about like the environment, I was talking about like communities, so it's like more this like grandiose idea of like really restoring different ideas.
Yeah, but that's where I remember that the beginning of you being there solid and had this, I'm sticking this out.
I think what I really like about the book is the honesty and vulnerability. Like you're telling some very unflattering stories of yourself that are and funny stories, but I think you probably know which one I'm referencing.
I do.
I thought, which it's funny, but it's also like, holy cow, this is really like the difficulties of what this young girl coming out of, I mean, early 20s when I say terrible, out of America being in
late
this,
20s.
Oh, okay, young woman.
Thank you.
But I just like the struggles that you were facing and just the perseverance you had, but you were so honest about how you were struggling through them, how emotional it was. Instead of just trying, some people might try to portray themselves, especially if they have control over the narrative. Oh, I was strong, I was tough. And you were like, no, this was hard, I wanted to quit. And I think that's what people relate to when they're reading a book, and it made me connect to you more as a reader when I was reading it. So that's what I really like about the book.
I mean, I couldn't imagine writing it if it were any. I mean, to write a hero story doesn't really seem fun to me.
Especially if you're writing it yourself.
It's like, but it really was in, like I say, there are more downs and up, and the downs are probably, like you say, like people wouldn't believe the things that I admit to, but it's like, because this is real. I mean, and this is how it gets there. And I mean, and they were, and I'll be totally honest with you, the story that you're referring to, there's about 5 more of them that my editors cut out.
What?
Yes.
That's the gold.
My publishers were like, we don't need any more of these stories, okay? I think you've made your point. And so, and if you read the book, you'll know what we're talking about. But there were quite a few of them, and they were like, they actually cut them out because they were like, all right, point made.
So I want to talk about, I mean, what's unique for you guys as a couple is you both writing books at the same time. Were you guys very supportive of each other during the process, or competitive, like my book better be better than his book? What was the dynamic like?
God. No, she's mega supportive, mate.
And ditto.
And to be honest, and I like to say, and I've said it before, that means more than all 4 books I've done.
Oh, stop that. That's
it does.
Not true.
It does, because I put the time in with that, but I've got a fantastic ghostwriter, and he's awesome. So, but she has handwritten every word in that book, which I admit I can't do. I just can't do it. It's just not me. I can say it. I'm dyslexic when it comes to writing and stuff. So, but you talk about 15 years work. There's 35 years work because of the history and all the knowledge she's got to put it in the book, but she persevered, and so hands down, without a doubt.
I also had a great publishing team, so I worked with Bold Story Press, and they've been amazing.
But the work and the writing and the thought process is all.
I did write it.
Totally is. It's amazing.
That's impressive. I mean,
so she's mega supportive to me, but hands down.
Did you have to get like brutally honest or honest in a loving way. If they're like when you're proofreading stuff, you're like, Julie, I don't know if you should put that in there. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll tell her exactly as I see it and believe it, and she's like that with me. To be honest, what's weird is she started writing that years ago. We went off we needed a break, and we went off to a place called
Wells, New York.
Wells, New York, where there's about 7 people live and
there
a
was
load of
literally
bears.
one restaurant in the community that was open on Thursday.
Yeah.
Remember that?
And I went up there, and I wasn't writing, so I thought, she sat there all day bloody writing, and I was like, what am I going to do? So I went and bought loads of fish to attract bears to come around our house, which is illegal.
They said, do not leave food outside because there's bears, and there's, like big brown bears.
I love bears.
And he wanted to see one. So this guy, and he does.
Bears.
He loves bears.
I love bears.
And so it was like certain ways to like tie up your trash, certain ways to do things, whatever. He'd go and gut fish and leave them all around the cabin. We're like,
yeah.
We still didn't.
That's where you and I are different.
So so you talk about being supportive. She sat out on her own in the wilderness writing, and I'm attracting bears.
It creates a beautiful picture. Like I'm picturing like her in the grass, like with an easel and just with a feather pen, just writing her life story.
It was almost like that, wasn't it? I was
and
all on my own.
In the background, shirtless with fur cloth covering his groin area and a spear.
And dead fish like rubbed all over his
I
body.
said, you want to impress me? Wait till those birds turn up. Let's see how fucking quick.
Anyone listening that's good with AI, if you could create that image and send it to us, we'll put it on the episode.
It was that. I've got pictures of her somewhere, and I'm like, all I saw was her back.
Yeah.
She'd be sat there
you
in
have a
a
lot of pictures
beautiful,
like that.
tranquil place. She had this big, crazy ass hat on, and she'd just sit there for hours and hours while I was trying to attract bears to
So
come
you
in.
were supporting her by hunting and gathering.
Yeah, I wanted to see how quick
To
she
keep
worked.
her fed.
That's it.
I want to see how good she was under pressure when there's a bear chasing her. Let's see how you write
See if
there.
you're still a disaster responder, Julie.
Oh God.
That's a true story, and that's where it all started.
Yeah.
Up in North New York.
Yeah. That was oh god.
That was an
And
experience.
I'm from upstate New York, and I've never even heard of that.
Mate,
Yeah.
it's how many people live there?
No, it was literally like a town of like I think 320.
It was less than that.
It was crazy.
It was but
You
it
guys
was,
just wanted to go into complete seclusion.
Yeah, we did.
So it was. There was a lot of bears. There was a lot of stuff. We didn't see any, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we used to go walking, take a break, and just go walking into the wilderness and down, follow the streams. It was amazing. It was like when we went up to your place. It was beautiful. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's good.
But that's where it all started years and years ago. And I had no intention. I think actually I did. That must have been a trigger for me because I remember sitting in the house one day, bored because she was freaking writing, and I just started writing my memoirs about, where I was, what I'd done, and just funny stories really.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first sort of start.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, and that's how the hard way came out of.
That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
It did. Yeah, the autobiography. But
Yeah.
but in terms of what it means to support, she's been mega supportive for me.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And she tells me the truth as well, if it doesn't sound right, or not just because I might upset somebody, but just to say, look, think about this side of it. So it's always good to have that steer.
And it is interesting because we are very competitive people.
Yeah.
Like just naturally, but we're never competitive with each other. Now that you say that, we've never been competitive with each other. No,
Yeah.
that does not even slightly ring any sort of bell.
We don't have the same views on everything.
No, we do not.
No.
We are a divided household in football and politics.
Oh, without a doubt.
And you guys make it work.
And we make it work.
It's the opposites attract.
Well, because I think it's important to hear both sides of the story, especially in today's world where things are so polarized and it's so this and that. I think it's important to hear both sides, so hopefully you can come to some kind of normal conclusion for yourself in the middle. And so, I think we try to keep it real with each
Because it
other.
always comes down to one thing, she realises at the end of the day I'm right.
Oh, that is so not true. If you want to know the actual truth,
Oh, here we go.
in 2017 he had a really good year. He was right 3 times.
That's wow.
No, of like thousands, right?
That's like Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah, so I will never forget that
mate.
year. I was off my game.
I was in a good place.
I was off my game, and I'd be like, he says something, I'd be like, oh, you were right. Yeah, you are right. And I said,
I'm glad we're capturing this on camera right now.
and I did say,
I'll clip it for you.
Say it was exhausting to always be right. To be honest, and so that was a good year for us because he really he showed up for me.
From Lost to Legacy, subtitle: It's exhausting always being right.
There you go. There's the subtitle.
In my marriage, let me clarify. In my marriage.
Right, okay.
You need to write a marriage.
We
advice
should write a marriage book.
Jesus Christ. We have.
you
It's called War and Peace.
Yeah.
You guys are a great couple. From whenever I see you guys.
We have a good time.
But very supportive of each other.
You are, yes. And I would say with your life experiences, you with the military, you with your humanitarian aid work, how do you guys use those life experiences in your marriage and like those different backgrounds?
Yeah, but I was just say disaster responders, although we do not have any sort of military intelligence, like we don't know what it's like to be in war zones with all that stuff that's happening for them and what things that he's experienced. But what we did see was the disaster, destruction, like human suffering, like pure human suffering. And so that kind of, I think, connected us in the early days because we could really bond on those things. But then also I never had the respect, like my grandfather was in the military, but like I never had the respect for military and military families the way I do now because of the sacrifices that they make. And I mean, truly the sacrifices from the danger that they put themselves in on a daily basis to the families not like being apart and not knowing what's going on. I mean, it's a really interesting dynamic. I think military families have, something very special that they can live apart and like find their own lives and then come back together. And we still do that to this day, but we have to go off and do our own things, even though he's not in the military and I'm not necessarily in disaster response. We will live our own lives in the
based
way.
on experiences and realities of what we've seen, smelt and touched, which is no substitute for.
Yeah.
We've got luckily to have those experiences, and not all have been pleasant, of course, but you can, every situation you do in daily life now, you can there's something you can sort of relate to going back to what we've done, seen and been through. So, but the other good, I love that question is, sorry, I've got to get this out there, is I always talk about life's about perception, and as soon as you say military, people go, oh yeah, military, they create destruction and death, and no, they don't. It's that we're one of the same. We're disaster relief worker in more extreme cases. We have to deal with putting out the fire before we can deal with the disaster. But that's exactly what we're doing. For all of my career, that's all we've ever done, is gone into places to stop suffering at the sacrifice of ourselves and some of our, my comrades who are not here today and never had an opportunity to be married or have kids themselves or whatever. So it's one of the same. So ours have always been extreme. We've had to sort of being there to save our own lives as quickly as save anyone else's life, whereas going in as a disaster relief person, you're not going in to be challenged and attacked generally. You're going in to do what we do as soon as we've stopped the aggression. So it's one of the same.
And something he said to me early days in Haiti was, as a military man, he focuses on hearts and minds, the hearts and minds of the people. And I mean, that was to a T exactly what I was doing, especially me. I was like really trying to listen and learn, what did the people of Haiti need and want from us being here. That was like kind of my mantra. And with his hearts and minds and like the way that we were able to work together in the early days, it really like kind of blended those ideals and those ideologies and helped us build what we've built today.
Yeah, and the deep lessons of being the military career it's all about hearts and minds. You can read what you want in the pub, in the domain, the media and all the rest, and people can almost brainwash us to think and hate people, but we're smart enough to go, no, hang on a minute, we'll make our own decisions, understand what you're saying. And then when you are boots on the ground, there's no substitute for that. And I've been in situations, as we've talked before, Bri, horrible situations I'd never want anybody to see or be part of, but I've had to be there. And the story I've read about the actual situation I've been there and seen is not what is portrayed back in the UK through the media. It's always over-exaggerated. It's always spread out because to some people, they don't really care. It's just a story, and the more people that hear the horrible and the atrocity, and the more people will buy the paper or listen more to that nonsense, and it's wrong. And I've challenged myself so much even now, with what I see in the media and stuff, it really, really grinds on me, and a lot of people going, the way it's portrayed, and I don't understand why people do. Just tell the truth. This is what is happening. Of course, it's hard, but it's always over-exaggerated for the purpose of gain, corruption, or money, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, truth is something you really can only see face to face.
Exactly.
And you guys seeing in these experiences, knowing what it is, and that's what the books are talking about.
Exactly. So it's boots on the ground. She's been boots on the ground. She's lived, breathed, and done it. Not read about it and then quoted a bit of it. She's actually lived, breathed it, and been through the pains and the suffering and the sacrifices, and rightly so, because that's the only way to do it.
And I think it tells an honest story about Haiti and the Haitian people that a lot of people don't know. I definitely didn't know. You just see again. Oh, it's a poor country. It's disasters. But you realize that in the book, these are hardworking, good people. Like
You take the humanity
there's
out of it.
doctors. There's
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
not different than us. It's just they happen to live in a piece of land that's just however many miles away. But this gives a real insight that I never even knew about the Haitian people.
Even to current day, all the media that comes out talks about the gang wars. Are the gang wars real? Yes. 90% of the capital. Our factory is sitting in the middle of gang zones. It's called what they call a red zone. Like UN couldn't go in, USAID back when that existed couldn't go in. I mean, people are suffering, but when you remove the humanity, the fact that these are, like you said, doctors, lawyers, mothers, fathers, children, students, workers, when you remove that, it's much easier to compartmentalize it and forget that they're human beings. And so in the story, in the brand of Demain, that's what we try to tell every day, are these stories of creative artists, inspired, incredible human beings who are just trying to make a living for themselves. And then, so through the book, I hope that we are able to distribute that story on a more wide base. So not everybody's a Demain customer, we know that, but we hope that, in reading the book, we'll change minds about, what people might think or think they know about other people that they don't really know.
Yeah. Well, and how do you think for people that read it that, you guys have lived such unique lives, military, and then your experience in Haiti, for the people that just live day-to-day lives like a 9-to-5 in America or trying to get by, trying to just do better in life, how will these books relate to them? What are the day-to-day things that can translate?
Because the lessons are the same. They're the same struggles. You've got your same struggles. All right, our world, I chose my world, she chose her world. So ours are kind of extreme because, you're talking life and death. Everyday struggles are the same in the household. You've got to, you don't feel well or you're not well, but you've still got to get up, you've still got to get out, you've still got to go to work. So you don't go to work, you don't get paid, you don't get fed. You don't pay for your electricity, you don't pay for your house. So the struggles are the same. So I think the lessons there are exactly the same. It's just about toning it down to the level of what is relevant to you. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. It all relates. It really does.
It's exactly that. That was the word I was looking at. It's all relative.
Yeah.
It is all relative. You've just got to read through it and then read between the lines and go, how does that sort of present itself to me? And go, well, actually, yeah, I've got the same struggles.
Yeah.
I have got the same struggles because, my kids ain't going to be able to have shoes and they're going to suffer and they're not going to, you know what I mean? And then there's the mental effect of what they're going through. So the knock-on effect is it's exactly the same. It's just a different process.
I think kind of the big theme that links these two books together is testing your limits, learning what your limits are in tough situations, and pushing further beyond them, which is what people go through any day in life. So, like, especially with you, Julie, like, there were probably many moments where you're like, all right, have I reached the wall here? Have I done my best? But this may be the end of the road for me.
Oh my gosh, so many times.
But then you kept going. I mean, what made you do that? What gave you the strength to do that?
Oh gosh, the promise I made to Jolena and my colleagues in Haiti that I would not leave until I was forced out. And there was many times where I thought, okay, with the gang wars and the political situation, I might literally be forced out. And we were at a point where we can only travel to Haiti once a year if we're lucky, because of the situation. So I am essentially kind of forced out, but the team has been trained so well and the business runs by itself. They don't need me to be there. I am the salesperson now. I am out here. I'm the voice for the team in Haiti because they're there and I'm here. And so I think it's just the early promise I made. And just to go back a bit on what you said about relating to people, there's two things, and I alluded to this earlier. Everybody gets dressed every day. So they're making a statement about their fashion and their identity. And the other thing is most people on this side, they've got a purchasing power. They buy something every day. And what you buy matters, and it has this intricate effect on the workforce globally. And so buying things with dignity and buying things that don't cause suffering of other people, that is the power we all have, as consumers. So your purchasing power means so much. And that's another, thing we try to allude to in the book of, just thinking a little bit about, fast fashion choices or just any harmful thing that you might buy that could hurt other people. And there's things that you can buy that help other people tremendously, and that's kind of an amazing power we hold as consumers.
looking at how these books relate to each other, do you guys have any plans for maybe co-authoring a book together or any
We
other
have
projects
talked.
that you would
We've
do?
not so much a book, but
A tour.
we've talked about doing a tour.
Yeah.
Like we sat here, sit in front of an audience and talk through. And we're not by any means trying to say we're experts and we have all the answers, because that's not what we're doing. But
Only
I
in
think with the
marriage.
knowledge,
Just kidding.
only through her, yeah, through the commanding officer over there with the long hair. Yeah,
The Sergeant Major of the
Yeah.
marriage.
yeah, yeah. Just because I think it's great to have these lessons from experience, and I think it's. I'd love to
Yeah, I'd love to as well.
to command an audience and have people ask questions and you know, show us where we're wrong if we're wrong. In certain, I'm
We have
happy
so much to
we're
learn
open
as
to all
well.
that. Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
Every day's school. But you just going back to whatever the word was about commitment. I think you owe it to yourself. I know you say you owe it to Jolene. You owe it to yourself because
Yeah.
you've said to yourself, you know, we can all give. I think as you get older, of course, you lose the strength and the power to jump on a plane, to run around and live in the field. That you can't do it
Yeah.
anymore. You then start to become a liability, and you're more of a problem than an help. So what do you do there? Then you go to the next stage. You pass on that knowledge that you've got, like you are doing, to the next, and then the next bit is just fundraising or whatever it is. So there's always a way to keep in line with your DNA of, rightly so, we should all help somebody less fortunate than ourselves.
Yeah.
And then that's, you know, the beauty of life. And it doesn't matter. So you take your last breath, you can pass something back, and that's the important. That's your legacy.
You know, investing in the youth is actually something I don't talk about a lot because it's not something I think about a lot, especially not being a mom. But I do think about two young people, Roni and Lovely, who came into Rebuild Globally 15 years ago. And they were young students who wanted to go to finish high school. And now 15 years later, they run and manage the factory. You know, I mean, so without them, our business wouldn't exist. But it's those 15 years of investment through their school, through their high school, college, post collegiate work, and then training at Demain. And now, like, the operations manager, the highest position is held by Roni, and the human resources manager, this, you know, another highest position in the company, held by two of these former students. So, like, we invested and trained them, and now, like, they are running the business. They own the business, and they make it work. So
awesome.
So it is kind of cool.
Yeah, because you never know what would have happened in their lives if you hadn't gone down there. You
Or
know, maybe
mine.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what mine would be like if it wasn't for them.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's hard. It's hard. It's a hard, long journey, and there's no substitute for it. For anybody who wants to be successful, or if you can consider this to be success, or to have a good impact and a good feeling for yourself, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
You can't just be handed it. Anything that's just given to you it's worthless to a degree, unless you pick it up and run with it and take it to the next level. You sit back and go, oh, well, Roni and Lovely inherited. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
They started right in the bottom of the weeds. They built their way up, and they had the knockdowns, and they went through, like they are today, they went through sacrifices, same as we did, I did in the military, you did, which is what you related to earlier. You know, they're going through the same challenges,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're doing it.
That everybody's going through too, just in life. I mean, that's why I think this will be, whenever people, you know, because I have a lot of things I stress about, and I don't do as good of a job putting things in perspective a lot and thinking about, okay, is this something that I'm going to be stressing about 3 months from now? Or is this as big of a problem as, say, something that you went through as a challenge there? I mean, you're like, okay, life could be way more difficult. That the way that this person persevered through this type of challenge motivates me to get through this more. It kind of puts things just more in perspective. So I think as like the average person, that's where both of these books is they're going to be inspirational for people. And you guys are inspirational to me, honestly. Like, this is...
We all learn off each other, Brian.
we do.
It's like you say. I mean, people go, I hear that word sometimes. Oh, you're a legend. You're an hero. No, I'm not. I did my job because you're doing your job. I can't do my job without the support of our nation, our people, our families, our friends. It's as simple as that, you know. So we all help each other. We all just choose different directions of where our strengths are. You know, I always talk about. I'm not academic. I'm far from it.
You are.
And
you are.
I am not.
You
I'm
are.
not academic.
Street
I
smarts.
am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got street, but I've had to earn that.
Yeah.
I realised, oh yeah, that, you know, that's not a good thing to do, is to get punched in the face. That fucking hurts. I won't do that again. I am the monkey see, monkey do. You know, I'm exaggerating there, but it's. I'm happy with my direction and where I go. Yeah. No, I can't string out long, arcane words that actually don't mean a lot of shit anyway. But whatever.
Well, I would say to kind of wrap it up with this, or we can even go on further if there's more stuff you guys want to say, but what's something that you want people to take away from these books that maybe we haven't talked about already?
I'm pure. I mean, they're all both about lessons learned, which we all want to do. You know, the problem we have today is people go onto the internet and Google something and they've got the information in 5 seconds. Well, because it's taken in 5 seconds, it probably only stays in your brain 5 seconds. If you buy the book and you learn the lesson, when you're reading about it, it's a slower process and it sinks in more. And sometimes you'll go back to it. So I think, I mean, I'm probably repeating what I've already said, but I want people to take away the true lessons and do something with it. Not just let it sink in from the internet and go, oh yeah, I heard about that, and then forget about it. Read it, try it, and adapt it to you. Because it'll take you away from the lessons I learned that you don't want to learn.
Yeah.
You know, don't reinvent the wheel. And I think Jules is the same. That for any young person, and I know there's loads of young kids, particularly girls who want to go out and help. You know, they see the media and they want to go and help wherever the disasters are, whether it's through war and conflict or natural disasters, they're going to want to go. Just by reading it, you're reading it, it's a slow process, it sinks in, you hold those memories longer. And then hopefully it will stop you from putting yourself in danger and doing a better job when you go out there and not wasting time talking to the people who can't make decisions. Learn from the lessons. No, you need to be talking to the people who can make decisions. Otherwise you're wasting all that time, all that energy, and by the time you get to the process of possibly being able to make a decision, you're burnt out. It's too late. So hit it at a higher level, and all those lessons are in there to do that.
Yeah, I see one of the lessons here right in the middle saying you're lucky to be alive. And I think that's what a lot of people don't remember enough.
Yeah, time is everything.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about what you can't control and enjoy what you've got in front of you. I would always say, go back to look after you. We talked about it yesterday. Look after yourself and your health. Look after what's important to you, your family. Have challenges, have views, and go out and learn.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to fall over. Don't be afraid to get it wrong. But don't get it wrong when you've got an opportunity to be 10 steps ahead of the stupid things that we've made.
There's a lot of lessons you don't want to learn too late. And
Yeah, exactly.
This book is
It's a classic, isn't it? You know, you get wise. You get what was it? You get old too quick and wise too late.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So, take some wisdom.
And for me, I would just say that, dignity through work is one of the greatest human rights. And what we buy matters. So whether you're, if you buy from a small business or a family-owned business, whatever we do every day really does matter. And I would hope that that's a lesson that people can take away from the book, that it really, really matters what you purchase.
Yeah. Well, that's From Lost to Legacy by Julie Colombino-Billingham and Further by Billy Billingham. When are these books coming out? All right, is it going to be the same day?
Early November.
Yeah, first week of November.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big party. Am I invited? Are you,
Yeah.
are you guys
You're
being
always
in the
invited,
UK?
Brian. The fact is, we'll be two different sides of the
he'll
ocean.
be in the UK and I'll be in the US.
I'll party. Oh, you guys aren't even going to be
We're not together. No.
But when we get together, we'll have a party.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
publisher's in UK, mine is in this state, so we'll do something apart and then we'll be together.
Well, I'm happy for you guys. Proud of you guys. Super excited to. I've read the rough draft of this. I will need to read the new draft because I've heard there's a lot more stories in there now.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, congratulations, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Thank
Been
you.
a pleasure.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
yes.
you.